Hey you, so today what I'm going to do a video on is the dangerous pitfalls of stacking that you should know, and it's going to be a couple of situations that have either come about to my attention, I've experienced or seen others experience. So I'll get into these. In the background I'm going to be displaying the 2 ounce complete set Kookaburra coin set that I've got there. I've actually done a video on this a little while back stating I wanted to actually collect them as I got the boxes individually. But through all my trading recently, I've come across a dealer that had this. So I'll just display these individually as I'm talking about this case here. And then we'll just get into this. So this is a combination of a few questions I've been asked about anything I feel any newbie should know. And just some things I think some stackers should know regarding silver stacking. So it's been labelled dangerous pitfalls of silver stacking. Obviously it's a pitfall. That may be an unforeseen event or mishap that you may not know of. So I'm going to break into these. It's going to be a few things I'm going to bring up that I believe are kind of dangerous that every stacker needs to know. Or if you did know, as many stackers will know, something for the newbie, or just touch upon what you already know. So the first thing I'm going to bring up is what I see as a very dangerous pitfall that all silver stackers should know, and no surprise here, it's going to be milk spots. So of my recent video, I've seen it affects people differently, but it's definitely something somebody who's going to be getting into stacking should definitely consider. So milk spots, what are milk spots? If you go take a look at that video that I done, hopefully we can sort of get that into sync, you can get an idea of what milk spots are. But why I say they're a very dangerous pitfall of stacking is that a lot of people, when getting into stacking, never consider milk spots can become such of a problem. This is why it's a pitfall. I've personally seen milk spots conquer many a great stacker, and when I say that, it's been something where somebody has been stacking and then through no knowledge and no fault of their own, a milk spot's popped up, and lo and behold, that person's done a 180. And it can happen to a lot of individuals, as it's something they never took into account can happen whilst you're stacking silver coins. And when I say a 180, it can be, as we all know, a lot of people have mentioned, they no longer collect coins purely because of the milk spots or the problems that came. So they may go to other types of silver and be statues, poured, or anything else. And to the more extreme, you may see another stacker come out of stacking silver, especially premium, low to medium to high premium coins, and just purely stack gold, specifically because of the milk spot problem. While I'm catching myself, and this is the second coin here. So the first and the second have the same motif. So just bringing that one up, it's a pitfall I definitely believe a lot of new stackers should seriously take into consideration, as it's something, as I mentioned in my last video on the case, that is something that's totally out of your hands, and it's something that does happen. I mean, likely at the moment, you could say it's a 50-50 chance, depending on which mint, but it's definitely something a lot of silver stackers need to take in consideration, and that's going to be milk spots in general. So if I was to answer a question I hadn't been asked regarding milk spots and which mint had the best quality control to handle or best manage milk spots, surprise surprise, I would say the Perth mint. Why? Because the majority to all of their coins, I believe it's just the low grade kangaroo coins, they go that extra mile and they prove and show it. So when you're getting a Perth mint coin, all of them are going to be encapsulated. When you receive a package, I think I've received a package directly from the mint once, but their packaging is always top notch. I personally have owned over 200 proof coins from the Perth, and within them a tiny percentage, I'd say no more than 5. And out of that 5, nothing on the levels of something you may get from Royal Canadian Mint, where the entire surface of the coin is spotted. We're talking magnifying glass loop and finding a teardrop and so forth. I mean, on the last video you saw the worst that I had in my stack from a proof coin. So Perth Mint for me have done the best job in maintaining. They're the best mint out there for quality control when it comes to spots, but they're not immune. Every mint can get them, and it's definitely something every stacker needs to take into consideration. Like I said, I've seen many great stackers just throw their hands up and want to quit and go the other way when it comes regarding spots. So that's going to be the pitfall number one for silver stacking that every stack should take into consideration, and that's going to be milk spots. So when we're looking at pitfall number two, this is not something I've personally experienced, but there's been a scenario where people close to me have experienced this, and I've been asked a few times about this. So pitfall number two is going to let you know that silver has a higher premium over spot than gold. And when I say that, every experienced stacker and anybody stacking knows this, but it's something people come to understand and feel a lot harder should come time to sell, an unforeseen event happen, which happens to everybody, and they now need to sell, and they're experiencing that, hey, I'm not getting as much, well, they're taking a loss when it's come to selling their silver, unless they've had it for many years and we've seen a spot jump and it's holding its new current price. Like now, for instance, I purchased late 2014, 2015, and the spot price then was hovering around the £10 sterling, £9.50. So the spot now hovers, at time of releasing this, is £14. So close to any of the bullion I picked up then, I can sell now currently and be okay. But if anybody purchased within, let's say, the last year, silver, or you still have many individuals limping around that purchased in 2011, that taking that into account, the higher premiums on silver, and a lot of people come to experience this and realize it and really take it on board when they have to sell, which is what I've personally seen. Because selling silver, because you paid such a higher premium on it purchasing, come sell time, when you receive spot, it can be very painful for a few. And this is, I mean, the premiums on silver, Europe is over spot, you're looking at, so it can be anywhere from 23% to 30% on top of spot. And now if you're in the UK, that's not even taking VAT on top, so you're looking at 20% VAT on top of that. So, and that's just the premiums that you're paying. So when you're looking at gold now, gold Europe is 3 to 5% over spot. So straight away, for the short run, so I would say, and it's never wise to put all of your savings into metals. I wouldn't say any metals at all. You're supposed to initially only put money or funds into metals aside, what I would say, and what the norm is, if you're not going to need those funds for a minimum of 5 years. So should a mishap happen, you're not going to have to directly tuck into the silver or metals that you've purchased. But we're all different, we all take our own little risks. So what I've seen a lot of is a lot of people that may have run into mishaps. I mean, if you look at my video, what video was it now? Stacking weight in the dips. And on that video, I display a load of kilo coins that I purchased, but I also display 200 ounces that I purchased off a friend. And in the video, I'm explaining that he had to sell it to me for spot. It's an agreement we have, and that's what all dealers pay. Anyway, depending on the coin, you may get a little percentage or premium over. But he was a prime example of why. Now, it was unforeseen when he needed to sell and it wasn't planned. But he had only purchased those coins, I would say, 7 months prior. So he took a loss when selling, whereas if he would have purchased gold, he could have put the same amount of funds as gold. He could have actually made a gain. And so it's one of the things where when a lot of people come to sell, it's really something that they don't take into consideration. Now, for me, it's something I fully know and take on board, and I have no intentions of selling my silver to go and purchase something else or get myself out of a bind. If I'm selling metals, as I've always stated, it's to reinvest and purchase more metals. So I'd rather be able to trade as opposed to selling. But it's something a lot of people should take into consideration, because I've had a few people contact me. And now also when I'm asked why silver over gold, this is one of the main reasons I also stack gold, as it's such a low premium over spot. I personally came in from the top down, so I've done a lot of my bulk purchasing, but I have funds, but I can't allocate it all to new purchases, so I have to shift my stack about. And by buying gold in a low, when I have the funds available, bullion gold, like my purchase just beginning of the year, my Britannia coins and the tube I'm looking to fill up. By doing that, I purchased those around £966 sterling. If something should come up, like a good deal, or a release that I'm not prepared for, I'm able to then sell that gold bullion, and many of the times, each time I've done it, I've made a small profit. When I sold last, I sold the bullion. Those two have been sold, but I'm in the process of actually rebuying them. Luckily, because they're bullion, they're not going nowhere. But I sold them for £1,010, so I was able to bring my ounce count down on the silver I was purchasing, and even pay for shipping. So it's one of the main reasons I also stack gold and have bullion, specifically gold, in my stack. So that's a pitfall many don't know but should take into consideration, whether you choose to purchase some gold as well. Like I said, I have a lot of my funds and metals, but I also use it to leverage. So one of the main reasons I pick up gold, if it's not just to do that, as keeping it in a savings account or in the bank is doing absolutely nothing. And I've seen more of just monthly spikes up and down off of the gold than I would have in any type of account. So it's something, a pitfall, every new stacker or any current stacker should really take into account. And it only normally kicks in if you're not in it for the very long haul, and you're not going to need to tuck into your stack at any point should you run into any mishaps in life. So that's something to definitely take on board. So that is going to be understanding that silver has a higher premium over gold when purchasing. So that's another pitfall, pitfall number 2 in the pitfalls of silver stacking. So to now get into pitfall number 3. Now this is one I personally haven't experienced, but when I done my video showing how to store high premium silver coins, a few people commented and somebody had contacted me, and it was regarding, this is pitfall number 3, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, and silver. And it's basically explaining that PVC, polyvinyl chloride, is extremely harmful to silver, and it's something that a lot of the mints are aware of. So you will not need to worry when you're getting any capsules, or no mint would never be that careless to supply any type of packaging, whether it be a box or capsules in PVC plastic. But it's extremely harmful to silver, and every stacker, silver stacker, needs to be aware of this, that if you store your silver in any type of PVC plastic, whether it be a coin case, a capsule, what it will eventually do is that it will corrode your silver. So if you, it's only going to be a problem really if you purchase coin capsules on the cheap, or from China, or a too good to be true bulk purchase. You may not be aware of what the capsule or the bag or the flip that you have has been made of, whether it contains PVC or not. So the problem with PVC is that when the polyvinyl chloride interacts with heat and light, it breaks down, and when that happens, it releases hydrochloric acid, and it's that stuff there that corrodes the silver or any other metal. So you want to stay away from any plastic containing PVC. So I personally haven't experienced none of these type of problems, but I've heard of individuals putting their coins in plastic bags that contain PVC. They've gone back to them, and apparently it leaves some type of a green goo. It just corrodes. It basically corrodes your silver. People have left their coins wrapped in a plastic band, came back to them, and it's left a imprint of the band around the coins or the bars. Now, a lot of these problems from the top down, your average stacker who stacks weight is going to say these things don't affect me, and we understand that, but this is for the collectors, and believe it or not, you are the minority. So this is for those who collect these high premium coins, medium premium coins, or want to store their coins in any type of containers or anything and so forth. So polyvinyl chloride is going to be something that you definitely, PVC plastic, you always want to look out for that. So if you're going to be using any type of coin flips, now I know this information your seasoned stacker is going to know, but if you're using any type of coin flips, if you're buying any type of coin capsules or anything, you always want to find out and make sure that it contains no PVC, as this can be highly corrosive to your silver and damage it. So that's going to be pitfall number 3, PVC. You definitely want to avoid that stuff. It is extremely dangerous to your silver and will ruin its life. So pitfall number 4 is going to be understanding how much volume silver can take up, especially when you're comparing it to gold. Now this is another thing that I've seen a lot of people switch over. So it's become a problem where an individual may say it was just taking up too much space, and they've converted and gone over to stacking gold, for instance. So this is something, and I'll deviate a little in this pitfall, where I often get a lot of questions asking me, how do I store my silver? So where do I store it, whether it be a safety deposit and so forth, and how do I store it? And it's hard to explain, because I don't want to give nobody these kind of tips, but I'll break into it just a little and say, obviously here in the UK, certain parts of Europe, we don't have the gun laws as you do in America, so we don't have the right to bear arms. So taking that into account, I had a safe, or I do still have a safe, but my stack quickly outgrew that safe in no time. So I did experience that problem after a while. Now, I also had storage, but I realized it was costing me fees that I wasn't comfortable paying, and I was constantly having to upgrade. So this is deviating a little. So when I'm answering this question, when I'm asked that question of how I store it, I'm an individual that believes in basically hidden in plain sight, you could say. So whether that's going to be you have a safe and you have it hidden. I'm not for having the safe on display, locked in a cabinet or somewhere. I'm talking only you know this safe is hidden behind, I don't know, a wall or a hidden floorboard or so forth. I'm not for putting it up high as heat rises, as we all know. I'm all about keeping it low. So whether that's going to be a safe underneath the floor, tucked away, or a hidden floor compartment, that's what I'm all about. And I also follow the 3-layer rule when it's going to be any type of floor compartment. So the 3-layer rule is going to be obviously the safe or the hidden compartment that we're talking about, and then from there you're going to put the second layer over there, which is going to be your carpet. If it's in a carpet, your laminated floor, and if it's in a garden, it's going to be the soil. And then the third layer is going to be either a flower bed or arrangement of flower pots. If it's in a garden, if it's in a premises, it's going to be a sofa or a cabinet, and that's going to be the third layer. If it's in a garage, then it's going to be a car or something. So that's the 3-layer. I work on that principle. It's worked best for me, and it's worked cheaper for me. I don't go up, I go down, and storage did become a problem for me. So it's just something that you should be aware of if you're going to be stacking. Currently, while prices are still low in comparison to gold, and I've mentioned this on one of my gold videos, it can be a problem, and a lot of people do complain about it. I mean, I'm not one for having one of those American double, like Tonka truck safes just sitting there. I know your weakest point is going to be your serviceman in your house. Still got a bit of a cold, so and those kind of things. I'm not one. I understand and know. My house actually has been burgled before, the family home, but we can get into that another day. But your average burglar, they're opportunists, so they're going to be snatch and run. So the last thing I want is for them, whilst they're snatching the iPad or spare rings or something, is to see a safe, not be able to get into it then, because I believe I'd stand more of a higher chance of them plotting on coming back. So they've originally taken what they wanted to take, but Mr. Burglar now knows when he's sitting down with his friends, that house over there we went into had a safe. What say you? We go back, we know it's all good. Now they can come back and maybe take people ransom and hostage and so forth. So I'm one of those that work with the hidden in plain sight and take it from there. So video we can do another day, but that's where I am on storage, just to answer that question and deviate a little. So when it comes to silver stacking, understand if you're going to be putting a lot into this, silver itself can take up a lot of volume. I've seen it turn some seasoned pros into non-believers and just go the other way. As gold, you can get a lot more and a lot little, and it is a lot easier to store. But as the price, as I believe, comes down and the ratio comes down, you're then going to be sitting on something really pretty. You're going to have a lot of really goodness. So that's that. So that's going to be pitfall number 4 in silver stacking. We're going to do one more. The video's gone on a bit, and that's going to be pitfall number 5. And I've come to term this privy pimping. So privy coins, privy pimping. So that's pitfall number 5. Now this is something I'm experiencing that may be bad for my investment at a later date, and that's the privy coins. So you may get into a coin. Currently, whilst I've been on watches, majority of the coins that go through this pimping process are the 1 ounce coins. So you may be on invest in a coin, for instance, it may have a mintage of 500,000. That may be your point. Now remember, you've gone in understanding these points. These are all set in stone. So you now have this coin. Let's imagine this is a 1 ounce coin. It's got a mintage of 500,000. And lo and behold, the mint comes along and decides to get the talcum powder out, start talcing its hand, and slap a pimp mark or privy mark on your coin. Your coin, now usually I don't know what the run is on other mints, but I know from the Perth Mint and the kookaburras in general, that's an extra 50,000 coins they've just pushed out. And that can be kind of deceiving in that you may jump on that privy, and I'm guilty of this, and you may jump on that privy coin and think, well, it's a smaller mintage than the larger mintage, but the overall same motif, the same coin has just had a pimp privy slapped on it, and it's now got a mintage of 550,000. And that really does deter a lot of serious collectors. And saying that, when they first started doing this on the Lunar 2 1 ounce coins, I don't know, I believe they started on the Dragon, I believe, it really peed off a lot of hardcore collectors, and a lot of people stopped collecting the coins because of the privy pimping. So it's definitely something to take into account. And whilst on these kookaburras, at time of releasing this, the current 2017 kookaburra, it has a mintage of 500,000. They done the usual 50,000 lunar privy, and lo and behold, it's come to my attention, I believe it's Bullion Exchanges have now got a 2017 shark privy on the current 2017 kookaburra design. So if you think about that now, they've actually came along and privy pimped another 50,000 coins. So a coin that initially started off now on my watch, I don't know if, and I've been around, when I say on my watch, it's since I've been stacking, I don't know if the kookaburras earlier years had more than one privy. Personally, I believe 2's were Crowd and 3's company. So we now have, since I've been stacking, the 2017 kookaburra coin that has had its usual lunar 50,000 privy mark slapped on it, and then now an additional 50,000 shark privy slapped on it. And that's what I'm terming privy pimping. I know a lot of other mints, no names mentioned, go privy crazy. They go apeshit with the privy marks and just talc up and privy slap every coin in the range. But it's something that I'm going to be looking at moving forward, especially when it's coming to the kookaburra coins. As I was conversating with a dealer, and he was explaining it really infuriates a lot of collectors, and people who collect the privy coins unwillingly are doing more damage as the mints. And I know it's one of those things where if we march with our feet or show our distaste with our feet, they don't really care. But I can understand when it's said that you're doing the coin that you love more damage by investing in these privy coins, because they'll just keep on going apeshit and privy pimping a whole load more coins. So the current 27, and I'm very happy they done that on the 2017 design and not the 2016, which I heavily invested in, and then that only has 550 if you're taking in the privy pimp mark into account. But you now have 600,000 of the current 2017, and so it's a strange move from Perth. But obviously, if you're looking at it like this, can you imagine the Royal Mint getting on something like this with the current Queen's B series? Now that's an unlimited mintage coin already, so they're gonna literally drain that. They're gonna squeeze the blood out of that stone. But if they was to come along and now say 50,000, I don't know, the current one is the Dragon, so 50,000 privy unicorn on, so you've got an unlimited mintage coin now receiving a pimping of the privy pimping Dragon. So you can just see how the mints are going to be taking it further and further. And I know those that are not into collecting coins and low premium are saying, this is why I don't collect them. But it's just one of those things your average new stacker needs to take into account, and it's a pitfall that was unforeseen. So these are just a couple of the pitfalls, or dangerous pitfalls, I think every silver stacker should know. And it'll be real interesting to find out if you also have any pitfalls that you feel anybody and everybody should know. It'll be really interesting if you could put some of those in the comments, because this is something that really affects a stacker in some way or another, and especially if they don't know this information. So it's one of those things that are well worth knowing as you're moving forward. So this video's gone on long enough, so hate or love it, guys. It'd be real great to find out what you think. Obviously put whatever you have to add to this in the comments. It'd be greatly appreciated if you subscribed, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.